Do you feel it? That weight on your chest? That slow, suffocating pressure, like the world is pressing down, daring you to collapse. They said you wouldn't make it. They laughed when you spoke about your dreams. They nodded politely, but deep down, they didn't believe in you. Not really. They saw you as small, insignificant, replaceable. And now every failure, every misstep, every night you lie awake staring at the ceiling, it echoes their voices. We were right about you. But here's the part they don't see. They don't see the nights you've spent drowning in your own thoughts, wrestling with your demons. They don't feel the fire burning in your chest, the kind that refuses to die. They don't know the storm that's been brewing inside you, waiting for the moment to erupt. They think they broke you. They think you're done. But let me ask you this. What if your pain was never meant to destroy you? What if it was meant to mold you into something unrecognizable? What if, right now, at your lowest, you are being sharpened, forged into something stronger than they could ever imagine? They expect you to stay down, to accept your place in the background, to swallow their lies and call it reality. But what if you didn't? What if you rose? What if you silenced every doubt, every whisper, every smirk thrown your way? Because let me tell you something. Their biggest fear isn't your failure. They never really cared if you lost. Their biggest fear is you standing up, walking away, proving them wrong. And when that moment comes, when they see you thriving, when they realize they no longer have control over your story, that's when the fear will set in. So, tell me, are you ready to become their nightmare? Rejection, betrayal, being underestimated. You've felt it, haven't you? That moment when someone looks you in the eye and tells you, in their own twisted way, you're not good enough. Maybe they didn't say it outright. Maybe it was the way they ignored you when you needed them the most. The way they suddenly forgot about you when you started struggling. The way they clapped a little too softly when you actually achieved something. They never wanted you to succeed. Because your success means one thing. It proves them wrong. And that terrifies them. So they rejected you. They made you feel small, like your ambitions were a joke, like you were a fool for even trying. You believed them. You started second-guessing yourself. You hesitated. You dimmed your own light just to make them comfortable. You tried to fit into their version of who you were, instead of becoming who you were meant to be. But let me ask you something. Who the hell gave them the right to decide your worth? Who said they were the judge? Who crowned them king and let them declare your potential? Nobody. But here's the twisted part. You let them. You let their rejection turn into a cage. You let their doubt become your own. Not anymore. Not anymore. Because rejection is not your end, it's your beginning. You see, every great warrior was once cast out. Every legend was once doubted. Every unstoppable force was once told they were nothing. But rejection is a gift. It forces you to grow in silence, to sharpen your edge when no one is looking. It turns your pain into precision. It builds something inside you that they can't understand. And one day, when they least expect it, you rise, stronger, sharper, unbreakable. when they see you standing there, unshaken, untouchable, untamed, they'll realize their biggest mistake wasn't underestimating you. It was thinking you needed their approval in the first place. Now tell me, are you ready to make them regret ever doubting you? They had a plan for you, didn't they? A path neatly laid out. A script you were supposed to follow. Be polite, stay in line, get a safe job. Don't dream too big. They told you how to live, what to want, what to fear. And like a fool, you listened. You tried to be what they expected. You played by their rules. You kept your head down, thinking that maybe, just maybe, if you did everything right, they'd finally see you. Finally respect you. But respect never came. No matter how much you bent over backward, no matter how many times you swallowed your own voice just to please them, it was never enough. Because the truth is, they never wanted you to rise. They wanted you obedient, predictable, just like them. But something inside you refused to die. That fire, that hunger, that voice whispering, "This isn't who I am." And now, the cracks are starting to show. You don't fit inside their mold anymore. Their expectations feel too small, too suffocating, too weak for someone like you. Because you weren't meant to live in their shadow. You weren't meant to be another name lost in the crowd. You were meant to break free, to shatter their expectations, to burn their rule book, to carve your own path, even if it means walking alone. And when they see you rising, when they realize they can't control you anymore, they'll panic. They'll call you reckless, arrogant, failure. Let them. Because the ones who fear your growth are the same ones who never had the courage to grow themselves. So tell me, are you ready to become everything they swore you couldn't be? Pain. It's the only thing that's ever been real. The only thing that's never lied to you. They walked away. They doubted you. They made you feel like nothing. And it hurt. It burned. It left scars that no one else can see. Scars don't make you weak. Scars are proof that you survived. And now, you stand at the edge of something greater. Not as a victim. Not as a casualty of your past. But as something else. Something more. Because pain didn't break you. It built you. Every night you spent in silence, wrestling with doubt, was a hammer against steel. Every betrayal, every rejection, every whispered lie about who you were, it was fuel. They thought they buried you. They didn't realize they planted a fucking wildfire. And now, it's time. Time to stop hesitating. Time to stop waiting for permission. Time to unleash the power that's been boiling beneath your skin, demanding to be set free. Because this world doesn't belong to the timid. It doesn't wait for the ones still begging for approval. It bows to those who refuse to kneel. So look at yourself. Right now, in this moment, you are not weak. You are not a mistake. You are fire. You are war. You are the force they never saw coming. When they finally open their eyes, when they see what you've become, when they realize they can't stop you, it will be too late. Because you won't just prove them wrong. You'll make them regret ever doubting you. Now tell me, are you ready to unleash hell? Look at yourself. No, really. Look, not at the version of you they created, not at the person who begged for validation, not at the one who played it safe. Look at the warrior beneath it all, the one who survived every storm, the one who stood alone in the dark and refused to break, the one who felt pain, betrayal, and loss, and still chose to rise. That's you, not the weak one, not the broken one, the one who never stopped fighting. So why do you still carry their voices? Why do you still hold on to the doubt they planted in your mind? They convinced you that your past defined you, that your mistakes were proof you'd never be enough, that the pain meant you were weak. They were wrong. Pain didn't weaken you. It purified you. Scars didn't ruin you. They remade you. And now, there is only one thing left to do. Decide. Decide who you are, right now. Not based on what they said, not based on the lies you once believed, but based on what you know is true. You are not your past. You are not their words. You are not the fear that once kept you trapped. You are what rises from the ashes. So answer me. Who do you choose to become? Enough. Enough waiting. Enough doubting. Enough stalling while life passes you by. How much longer will you stand in your own way? How many more days will you spend watching others live the life you should be living? This is it. The moment. The fork in the road where you decide. Do you stay the same? Or do you rise? Because let's be honest, you've been here before. You've had moments where you felt the fire, the hunger, the rage to break free. But something always pulled you back. Fear, doubt, the whisper in your head telling you, maybe they're right, maybe I'm not built for this. Bullshit. You were built for this. But no one's coming to save you. No one's going to hand you the life you deserve. This world doesn't give. It takes. And if you want it, you fight for it. Right here. Right now. This is the turning point. You either step up, claim your place, and rewrite your destiny. Or you stay where you are. Trapped. Forgotten. Watching from the sidelines while someone else lives the life that could have been yours. So tell me, what's it going to be? Because if you're truly ready, if you're done with the excuses, if you're ready to become a force they can't ignore, then there's only one thing left to do. Step forward. And don't ever look back. They thought you would break. They thought you would give up. Fold under the weight of their doubt, their rejection, their silence. Something inside you refused to die. That fire, that hunger, that relentless force they never understood. Now, it's time to stop fighting it. Stop running from it. Embrace it. Because that fire inside you, that's your power. Every time they turned their back on you, it fueled you. Every time they said you weren't good enough, it made you sharper. Every time life hit you in the chest and tried to take you out, you got back up. And now it's time to unleash everything. No more waiting, no more seeking permission, no more playing small. You don't rise by asking nicely. You don't win by hoping they'll finally see your worth. You take it. You burn so brightly, so fiercely, that they have no choice but to watch. And when they do, when they see the version of you they never thought possible, they will know they never should have doubted you. Because you were never meant to stay in the shadows. You were born to set the whole damn world on fire. So tell me, are you ready to burn everything holding you back? They're watching now. The ones who doubted you, the ones who left, the ones who thought you would never make it. They don't say much, do they? Not anymore. Because deep down, they feel it. The shift. You are not who you used to be. You are not waiting for their approval. You are not begging to be seen. You are done playing by their rules. And now they're the ones afraid. Afraid of the power you've tapped into. Afraid of the strength you've built in silence. Afraid that every cruel word, every rejection, every doubt they threw at you only made you unstoppable. And they're right to be afraid. Because you are no longer someone they can control. No longer someone they can manipulate. No longer someone they can keep beneath them. You are rising. Not for revenge, not for validation, but because this is who you were meant to be all along. You were never ordinary. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to break every limit, to rise so high, so fiercely, that they are forced to watch from below, powerless, speechless, defeated. So take your place. Rise above the noise. Rise above their doubts. Rise above the version of yourself that once hesitated. Because there is only one thing left for you to do now. Keep going. And never, ever look back. Look at you. Not the old you. Not the one who begged for recognition. Who doubted their worth. Who played small to make others comfortable. Look at who you've become. You are no longer seeking permission. You are no longer questioning if you deserve this. You are no longer bound by the chains they tried to place on you. You are free. But freedom comes with a price. Because now you can't go back. You can't unsee the power inside you. You can't return to the version of yourself that once hesitated. Once apologized for taking up space. Number. That person is dead. And what remains is something they never expected. Something they never wanted to face. A force that doesn't break. A mind that doesn't waver. A soul that doesn't kneel. You have stepped into your true power. And now, there's no stopping you. Not because they finally believe in you. Not because they've given you their approval. Because you don't need it. This is your life, your fire, your destiny. And anyone who doubts it now, they can watch. They can whisper. They can pretend it doesn't bother them. But they will never, ever forget the day they lost control over you. Because you are not just succeeding, you are thriving, you are unapologetic, you are untouchable. From this moment forward, you own every step of this journey. Now tell me, are you ready to walk as the unstoppable force you were born to be? This is it, the moment where everything changes. Not because of luck, not because someone finally gave you a chance, but because you chose. You chose to stop waiting. You chose to stop apologizing. You chose to become who you were always meant to be. But there's one last question. Do you go back, or do you move forward? Do you slip back into the comfort of the old life? The one where you stayed small, where you swallowed your truth, Where you let them dictate your worth? Or do you walk away from it forever? Because make no mistake, once you take this step, once you commit fully, there's no undoing it. You will no longer fit in. You will no longer be understood by those who fear growth. You will no longer be controlled by the weak-minded. You will stand alone, not in loneliness, but in power. And they will watch, they will whisper, they will say you've changed, and you will look them in the eyes and say, "Damn right, I have." Because this is your moment. The fork in the road where you decide, do you go back to being the version of yourself that they were comfortable with? Or do you step into the beast you were destined to become? The choice is yours. But understand this, the moment you choose greatness, there is no going back. So tell me, are you ready to leave your old self behind? Enough talk, enough waiting, enough hesitation, enough standing at the edge, wondering if you should take the leap. It's time. Time to move. Time to execute. Time to become the nightmare of every person who ever doubted you. No more excuses. No more second guessing. No more pretending you don't know what you're capable of. Because deep down, you do. You've always known. But knowledge means nothing without action. Power is worthless if it stays locked inside you. So what will you do? Will you let this moment pass? Will you go back to watching, waiting, hesitating? Or will you take what's yours? Because the truth is, you don't need permission. Not from them, not from the world, not even from yourself. You just need to move. One step, one decision, one act of defiance against everything that tried to keep you small. This is your moment. Burn the doubt. Silence the fear. Step into the fire and never look back. Because this is just the beginning. Now go. Show them what happens when the underestimated become unstoppable. One day they will tell your story, not as the one who failed, not as the one who played it safe, not as the one who followed the rules and stayed in line. Number, they will speak your name with awe. Because you didn't just rise, you dominated. Because you didn't just survive, you conquered. Because you didn't just prove them wrong, you made them irrelevant. They will say, "I knew them." They will act like they always believed in you, like they saw your potential all along. But deep down, they will remember the truth. They doubted you. They rejected you. They left you for dead. And yet, here you stand, untouchable, unapologetic, unstoppable. Because you didn't just succeed, you became a legend. And legends, they don't wait, they don't hesitate, they don't ask for permission. They take what's theirs. So now I have one final command for you. Go. Go build. Go create. Go prove the world wrong. When you do, you stand at the top, looking down at those who never believed in you. Smile. Because their biggest fear came true. You made it without them. And now, they have to live with it. If this hit you in the soul, subscribe. Hit the bell icon, like it, share it. Make sure they see this, because you aren't the only one they doubted. And it's time for all of us to rise.